Hey everyone, I'm the Rev, and in this video I want to talk about the braking on Le Mans Ultimate, and hopefully give you one or two tips to help you with your braking and to help you become that bit more consistent. Now I've been sim racing for a good while now, but I have to admit that the braking on LMU is something that I've had to take steps to adapt to. When I first started playing, I was locking up constantly. I was locking up the hypercar, the LMP2 and the GTE. Now, as you are well aware, these cars don't have anti-lock brakes. It's you and the brake pedal, you must be as one. It felt like no matter what I did, I either couldn't slow the car down fast enough, or I would lock the front wheels and head straight on into the corner. Now initially, I tried to mitigate this by adjusting the brake bias. Now this did help me a little bit, as on Le Mans Ultimate, I felt that many of the cars had a brake bias percentage that was heavily weighted towards the front. So moving this a little bit to the rear really helped me, especially in the LMP2. However, it was only when I accepted that the problem was not the game. I think Taylor Swift said it best. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem, it's me. Didn't know I could sing, did you? And that's exactly what it was. The problem was me. And once I accepted this, I actually started to improve. So I had come from ACC, from Automobilista 2 and from many other sims, and I was trying to brake the same as I did on those games, and that simply didn't work on Le Mans Ultimate. So I knew that I needed to find a way to brake on LMU that might be out of my comfort zone and require me to effectively learn a new way of braking. Now it still doesn't seem quite right for me to be making tip videos. I mean, I'm an average sim racer, I'm not an alien, and I'm not winning top split races, so it feels weird for me to be offering advice. However, I suppose it's a double-edged sword because what I am is an average Joe, and if this method of braking works for me, then hopefully it can help some of you out there. I don't say that this is the best or the fastest way of braking, but it did help me enjoy the game, and that's why I'm here after all, for the pure enjoyment. So let's start with the hypercar. I'll jump into the Ferrari. It sounds the best for a start off, but it's also the one that I was struggling with. For this test, we'll take it to the Qatar outer track layout. Now, into turn 1, it's incredibly easy to lock up. It's also the same for the final turn, so it's a good test. So when I used my old style of braking, that's exactly what I was doing. I was locking the front of the hypercar all the time and going straight on into turn 1, and it was quite frustrating. However, just by changing my style of braking, I was able to get a grip of the car and become more comfortable with it, almost making the car more predictable in the braking zone. So these cars have a ton of downforce, so what I tried was to brake really hard when at high speed, and all that downforce was forcing the car into the track. As the downforce came off, when the car slows down, so did my brake pressure. So as the car gets to the apex, I'm coming off the brake completely. So at high speed, high downforce, hard on the brakes, 100% brake force, then as the car slows down, my brake pedal pressure decreases. And this really helped me to stop locking up. But that wasn't the only thing. The brake pedal was only half of the story. I really needed to start to use the engine braking to help me slow the car down. So whilst I'm braking, I'm going down the gearbox as fast as I possibly can so that I have the maximum engine braking. This also helped me with locking up. The more I use the engine braking, the less I locked up. Now this technique, if you can call it that, could also be applied to the GTE cars. However, due to them having less downforce than the hypercars, the length of time that I was at full braking force was less. Portimao was the perfect track to try this in the GTEs. I found I was constantly locking up on this track. However, using the braking and gearbox technique, I was able to get better and I was able to handle the GTEs in the braking zone. Now it's also worth noting that on LMU, lockups breed lockups, just as in real racing. When you've locked up on LMU, you essentially flat spot the tyres, which makes it much easier to lock the wheel up again. So if I've had a particularly severe lockup, I know I'm going to have to start braking a touch earlier, as I'm much more likely to lock up again. Now this method of braking, what I use now for the hypercars and the GTEs, is not what I use in the GT3s. These cars have the luxury of having anti-lock brakes, so the braking methodology is very different. Listen to me using big words as though I know what I'm talking about. For me, the best way to slow these cars down is to try and not be at 100% brake force. I don't want to be fully in the ABS activation zone, as the car just does not slow down as fast if the ABS is constantly activating. So for these cars, I brake to about 80-90% and then start to trail off again towards the apex. As these cars have ABS, locking up isn't an issue, it's just about how fast I can get the car slowed down. I've also started to lower my ABS down a few clicks, as this helped me slow the car down that little bit better. So I run my ABS at around about 7 to 9. Now this is always going to be trial and error. Turn the ABS down a click or two and see how it feels for you and see what feels comfortable. So that, in a nutshell, is the way I got my head round braking on Le Mans Ultimate. Using this way, me, as an average sim racer, I was able to make the cars more predictable, which made them easy to race, easy to get some speed out of, and overall just more enjoyable to drive. I hope this video helps you. If it helps just 1 or 2 people enjoy the game that little bit more, then it was worth making. As in everything in life, nothing is going to beat practicing and trying to hone your skills, so jump into your favourite car, get on track and try this way of braking. Remember to use the Gearbox to help you. If you found this video helpful in any way, then please do leave me a like and subscribe, as it massively helps me out. As always, I've been the Reverend. Thank you very much for watching.